Okay, get your thinking caps on. Let's give a big round of applause to Alan Shafran. Alan, come on up, buddy. Oh, that was a really big round of applause. Get him.
Oh, what a great audience. I've been listening to you guys all day, great presenters, recognize some people up front. I now know why everybody's so happy. 1/3 of the audience is having martinis in the back. That's the Millionaire Coaching Club back there for sure. Hi, Robin. So Tom wanted me to talk a little bit about teams today, and so in the little time that we have, I'm going to do my very best to try and give you some insight. It's not enough time to give you exact detail. I will give you some, but I think if I can give you a blueprint, an idea, thought patterns, then you can decide whether or not it's something you want to do. My history over about the last 10 years, my little team has made over 20 million bucks. So we're averaging 2 million bucks a year, and some weeks I work 10 hours a week, some weeks I work 40 hours a week. But that averages out to a pretty good life, ultimately. And so, I wrote some notes. I'm hoping you write some of these notes too, because I do think this is by design. It's not by luck. I've talked to people, like I said, like Robin up here. Anyone who has talked to me or has come to me for advice knows that when you're trying to build a team, it's just not easy. So your thoughts, your patterns, your decisions, what you do every day needs to be purposeful. Needs to have intent, needs to have a mission, a direction, and an end result. It's not going to be luck, okay? And from a show of hands today, who thinks real estate is easier than it used to be? Liars. You weren't listening, you just raised your hand. Who thinks it's harder? We have 3 different types of transactions today, right? Short sales, foreclosures, regular sales. Who the hell knows what's coming next? So, in my opinion, having a team really helps us overcome the cycles, helps us overcome the challenges that this industry, technology, is constantly throwing at us, because we need more help. We've got, the old days, right? One sheet of paper. Oh, now I'm aging myself. Okay, let's skip this. Okay, so why? Why a team? Again, purposeful. I wrote down, it's to create an improved experience, and I think this is really important. To create an improved experience for the customer while improving and enhancing your team's life and yours. So what's your intention as a team leader if you are a team leader? And I would like to talk to both sides of the fence today, right? Because my feeling is that teams are the future. So my feeling is, be a team leader, that should be the goal, or get on a team. Both are great. I think real estate's better that way. So I want you to hear both sides as I talk today. Okay, so what creates that little intent that I just wrote? Well, hopefully more dollars for everyone, right? Although no one's here to make more money. Who's here to make more money? Right. More dollars for everyone. More personal time away from work. How does that sound? How does that sound? That's what I thought. Reduce cycles. That's punishing in our business. 1 month you sell 2 homes, 1 month you sell 3 homes, 3 months you sell 0 homes. Whoops. That's the problem. We're trying to get away from that. Camaraderie. Can be a lonely business, can't it? Right? So I think we can make it more celebratory. When we have a team, when we're rooting for each other, everybody's win can be your win too. You can enjoy other people's successes. It's okay. This one's interesting. I wrote, increased degrees of competition separation. It's becoming a little bit more difficult right now. But I think when you're either on a team or leading a team, you can have more power in creating separation from who you're competing against. And I think we just heard about that from the last presenter a little bit. And that increased degree of separation creates higher, by the way, closings, more often and faster. So we think be part of the future. Every one of us, you get to look at a team, you get to think about it. Obviously, I'm going to tell you I think it's the best because it's my opinion. But there are companies. Who's heard of a little company called Redfin? Any of us here in Southern California? That little company got $15 million in venture capital. So I don't think they're profitable quite yet, but who's ever giving them money is believing in the team concept. I actually interviewed one of their agents to be on my team a little while ago, and I got to understand the infrastructure. It's very, very, very interesting, and it's all team-oriented. Now, I don't like it. I don't want to be part of it. I like it that I now know what we're competing against, but that's why I tell you this is the way to go. Okay. So, in my opinion, secrets to a successful team. Number one, very important, create enough profit to reinvest and grow. Tom just talked about it a second ago, and we didn't discuss it together, but run it like a business. And then in order to create that profit, you're going to have to think about what does that. Every decision you make, you can't figure it out after the fact. When you figure it out after the fact, you're out of business. You have to know ahead of time, this is how much money I need to make, this is how much commission I need to earn, this is how much it costs me, this is how much I'm willing to pay out. I've got administration, staff, marketing, growth, agents. You make the wrong decision somewhere along those lines, it's not so simple. If you're looking for a team, or you want a team, my definition of a team leader, an excellent salesperson. Someone that knows the skills. Maybe they've been around, they understand technology, but they know how to close the deal. They've got better sales skills than you. They can teach you, they can train you, they can help you, they can motivate you. Now, by the way, I might be offending some people here today, because if you are a team leader and this doesn't match up with maybe who you are, I'm sorry ahead of time. Too bad. But you get a chance to change, grow, or prove me wrong, and I'm open for debate, by the way, after the fact. B, is kind and fair to the team leader. You'll know if it's all about them. You'll understand it, and I'll explain a little more in a second. C, strong enough to toe the line and lead into the future. So I think a team leader, the challenge today, right, when we look back 5 years ago, wouldn't you have wanted to be with a team leader that says, you know, this is what the economy kind of looks like. I can't prognosticate it perfectly, but I do think short sales are coming. I've been here before. I do think REOs are going to be very important. I think open houses are going to be critical. I think we're going to take technology and combine this, and I think this is the direction we need to go. And that's a challenge in itself right now, isn't it? We're always being pulled in different directions right now. Do I do marketing here? Do I do marketing there? You need someone to take that line, tow it, and make it work. Or be that person. Someone's good at marketing, which I think is a little redundant of that last point, and teaches and improves your sales skills. Any questions thus far? That's it. It's really simple. Someone on the team who has an amazing administrative staff. That's a challenge in itself. We'll talk about that. And agents that understand the mission of the team, understand the commission splits that make the team work, and understand where the money's being reinvested and how it comes back to them. And they're grateful for what is provided there. So I kind of learned that when I used to manage money. And if you ever work for a Wall Street firm and you get to keep 30 cents of every dollar you make, it's kind of backwards from what we learn in this business, isn't it? What do they teach us in this business? Go get a 99% split with your broker. They get 1%. And then keep 98.9% and spend it on your personal life. Well, you can't grow. You can't change. You can't do anything with that. So we kind of have to change that thought pattern a little bit. Okay. Teams with a recipe for disaster. Just to identify an ego-based leader. Now, what does that mean? What does ego really mean to me? It means non or unprofitable, if that's a word, volume. I want to do $100 million in business. I want to keep $2,000. That's not going to do anybody any good. It's not going to do you any good. Because the goal here is to have a long-term career with somebody. That's the direction this industry is heading. So try and find somebody that stays away from that concept. Teams with the belief that the number of bodies on the team will create more business are wrong. That's been proven, but continue to watch for that. That's very, very important. High commission splits. I know you guys don't want to hear this. I know it. I know. I understand. I get it. Every time I have an interview with an agent, and we tell them, you make 5%. I'm just kidding. But, we deal with the agents. I'll have an interview and someone say, well, I got offered 90% over here. And what happens if I bring the leads, right? How many team leaders are here? Raise your hands. Have you ever gotten that question? Well, thanks. I think that split's fair. Thank you. I appreciate that, Robin, on all of the leads that you're giving me. But what if, my best friend and their friend, and I have this list over here, what if they can somehow come and buy a home sometime in the future? Well, we have to be fair about this, right? So my answer always is, what split do you want? Well, I would want 90% under those circumstances. All right, so I'll tell you what, I'll keep 90% on the leads that I give you. Okay, you get to keep 90% of the deals that you put through from that little list. Deal? What do you think the answer is every time? Well, no, I don't like that deal. I want 90% of this and I want that. Wrong answer. Okay, it has to be fair. So when you guys are talking to these team leaders, understand that if you're dealing with a good one who's investing a lot of money into the business to create the growth, to create the leads, to create your business, to create the infrastructure that creates a better life for you for all these things, that takes money. And we don't operate like a typical office which struggles with these things. That's what creates maybe a couple $1,000,000 a year. Year after year after year. My number one buyer's agent has been with me now, I think, 11 years. And then another one, 8 years, 9 years. You treat these people well, it comes back, but they need to understand it. And you need to understand it too. Another one, and you'll see this because it all falls in line as far as recipe for disaster, 9 people on the team with 1 administrative staff. Very, very careful. Be very, very careful. Okay, because every time we make a change in this business, it costs you time, effort, energy, and money. And I want you guys to be successful. There's one team that I consulted with recently. I think their gross was about $1 million. And every person on that team, I think, was probably making $80,000 by the time they were done. It's just not enough. That's gonna fall apart. So you want everybody to sort of be more successful, and that administrative staff is going to be your core. It's the one consistent piece of your team that will keep everything else in line when we're going crazy. Short sales, REOs, nuts. Okay, so let's go into a couple of the details of it. Okay. I wanted to talk about a couple of facets. How much time do I have? 30 seconds. All right, I'll try and get through this quickly for you, okay? I get this question a lot, so I'm trying to hit this question. And the question is, so how do we distribute it? How do we be fair? How do we do this? Okay, I created, for us, I just call it the ASG sourcing system. So as a team leader, this makes a lot of sense. It was fair to me. I'm going to spend money getting my leads. I'm going to distribute those leads to the team fairly. Okay, that's my source. The team also does their own work, in my opinion. So when a team person, a buyer's agent, goes out and they do an open house, I think that's their effort that they put in. They're going out, they're putting out the signs, they're doing a lot of work. I think any leads they get from that is their source. Anything that is a source follows all the way down. So if someone brings in a transaction or a lead, anything that comes as a result of that lead should get sourced back to that individual agent. Because it's all about the leads. And that way, it motivates that individual agent, even within a team structure, individual agents that are more motivated can grow themselves. They can choose to do more business. They can choose to go out and create more because they benefit from all of that and the referrals that come as a result of it. And you need to have a good computer system that tracks it, and they better trust you. Farming, just an idea of farming, because we do have them. And this is kind of old school. For those who have been around in real estate for a while, there used to be protected farms, then they went away. In a team structure for us, we have protected farms. Because if someone, again, in my opinion, is going out and door knocking a certain area, now we have rules to that protected farm. So if you want a protected farm, you have to do certain things every single month. But if you have that, then the rest of the team, and you got to put this all in writing, needs to respect that. They're going to stay away from that. Because they can't, we're a team, we can't step on each other's toes from that direction. Now, in doing this all these years, there's only one person who's consistent at protected farms right now, and that's me. The rest of them don't want to do it. They're busy getting leads. They don't want to, but it is a choice. But you have to think about those things so that we don't have leads run into each other, per se. And then we have our pager system. Everyone has a different scenario. Our pager system is each agent will get the pager or the lead distribution system for 1 week. Because to me, it's too complicated to have, okay, now I got to have this lead go to this person, this lead go to this person, this lead go to this person. Who do I follow up with? How fast did they get? Did they get to the lead on time? Who am I calling to find out if they got to the lead on time? For us, we want one person per week. I've got one person that's accountable. They know for that week, they're going to be working on call all the time. And believe me, when they're done with that week, they want a break. So it's funny how you think that everybody fights for leads, but in my experience, if you've got your systems in place, everybody starts working like a team, and they're like, you know what? We used to have it where, hey, what if we get a call on a listing that you helped procure, it is your lead? They're like, dude, I need a break. Just go ahead and give it to them. They're working hard. I've got this, I've got to follow up on it, et cetera, et cetera. So that's sort of the goal that you want to try and, in my opinion, work towards. 59 seconds. That's a real 59 seconds, though. Okay, when you're hiring an assistant, and I'll give you a little roadmap here at the end, just my opinion as to how many deals, how many assistants, things like that. When you're hiring an assistant, Robin remembers this one, you're trying to budget how many months? 6. Well, you're probably a little better than most, though. So six months. I'd love to see you have 6 months in the bank of what that assistant's going to cost. And you put that aside and you don't touch it. Now that's a little rough. That's the goal. I understand. It's not easy, especially if you're new. But the reason is that we have to get through these cycles. And the way to get through these cycles, the wind's blowing here, it's not my breath, I promise. The way to get through these cycles is to have consistency. And the way to have consistency is to have a staff that you don't fire and hire every month depending on how many escrows you have. Because we know how it works, right? I have 3 escrows. I hired 3 assistants. 2 fell out. I fired 2 assistants. Okay? We both work on it because I trained that assistant on how to close that one. I had to train him, which stopped me from being able to go build my business. But then it closed. I had nothing left, so I fired them too. Now I got to start over. This should be the rule of thumb. If you have nothing left to do and you still have an assistant, go find something to do and pay them. And if you're feeling guilty that you don't have anything for them to do, good. Go work. Find something for them to do. 6 months. And you know what? That's good for them too, because we don't need somebody else on unemployment. But that's a whole different conversation. We're not going to go there today. Don't hire more agents until your business is ready. That's both respectful to your agents and good for your business. It's going to create loyalty. Treat them right. Help them accomplish their goals. If you dilute it, you have too many agents with not enough leads, nobody wins. Guess what happens to your team? Bye-bye. Because they all want to go. Okay? Build it slowly. You heard that too. Have a real business. Build it slowly. Build it correctly. Build it properly. So, this is the last part. I wrote a couple of notes on deals. Up to 20 deals. Now, my opinion is, the day you get in this business, you should have an assistant. I understand that's not realistic, but it's just my opinion. But up to 20 deals, 1 part-time admin. And today, unlike when I started, we have many more options for outsourcing to transaction coordinators, etc. So be sure to create a relationship with an outsourced TC and 1 buyer's agent from the day you get in business. Because you got to start getting off the ground. 30 to 40 deals. I'll run through this. 1 full-time admin, 1 outsourced TC, 2 buyer's agents. A team of buyer's agents typically runs on 50%. If you have 6, 3 will be producing. That's just the way it is. If you have 2, 1's producing. 1 gets sick, you have a backup. Everybody works as a team, it works out. You're jumping now to 50 to 60 deals. 2 in-house assistants now. A listing coordinator, a general administrator, and I still think you should have a TC at this point outsourced. 3 agents. 70 to 90 agents. This is when you get rid of the TC. And why? Because TCs aren't cheap. It's $400 per deal, right? Something like that, 350, 400, 450. And I got to tell you, how many TCs are in the crowd before I offend you? You got a pretty good gig. It's a good gig. $400 to upload the paperwork. Will you call my client? No. So when you're doing this level of business, I think you're spending enough money on that TC to get your own in-house person. Does that make sense? Right? Calculate it in your mind. All of a sudden you've got someone in-house doing all your paperwork and talking to your clients and representing and giving incredible service. You win. They win. Everybody wins. The client wins, which is when you really win. So 3 in-house, a listing, an escrow, an admin, 4 buyer's agents. Last one, 100 plus, and then you go from there. That's the next big step. 100 plus is when you're hiring your vice president. That's the person who is running your business for you. This is a high-paid individual. You're making a lot of money. You can afford it. Because when all is said and done, your total staff is still only going to run you 10 to 12% of your income at this level. A VP to run it all. A listing admin, an escrow admin, a general admin. You can also have a receptionist at that point because you've got the budget for it. Receptionist is great. Degrees of separation. No one's talking to a voicemail anymore. They're talking to a real live person. 5 buyer's agents at a minimum. And you need to be on your game. So we've talked a lot about this with Tom. He has a lot more of the details. You guys have been great. Thanks for sharing 20 minutes with me. I appreciate it.
That was a mouthful in 20 minutes. Awesome. 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 Okay. How's your energy?